1, 2, 3. All right, welcome to the summer 2021 Get Seated event. We are very excited to be with you virtually. It took a lot of moving parts and very talented people that brought this whole program together. We're very grateful for the faculty at the Lassonde Entrepreneur Institute and the Eccles School of Business who make this all possible. And of course, none of it would be possible without our very generous donors, Chad and the Ensemble family, Chad and Kristen Ensemble. Thank you so much for making this entire program a possibility year in and year out. We are completely indebted to you. Thank you. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, just a bit about the Get Seated program. Tonight is the final pitch event for the full grant program, which offers $1,500, up to $1,500 per team who pitch their milestone for their business. And this milestone is very tightly reviewed by the judges to make sure that teams are on track for success in their entrepreneurial pursuits and that they're at an appropriate stage to be requesting for the specific funding that they are. And a very important portion of this funding request comes through the customer validation stage. Have people gone through the necessary steps prior to landing their business in the stage that they're in? It's very crucial to get to the appropriate milestone in this program. And a milestone is an action or event marking a significant change or stage in development. And that's really what Get Seated is all about, is it's helping teams meet that threshold that is necessary for them to make it on to the next milestone in their own business development. And so just a few event rules for our live pitch tonight. We will be having 7 teams present their business ideas and their milestones for us this evening. Each team is allotted 3 minutes to pitch their milestone. And the audience that is joining us here live is welcome to contribute questions directed at each of those teams. And so we will be monitoring the chat at the YouTube live link for any audience members asking questions that will then be posed to the teams at the question and answer session after all 7 presentations are done. And the presentations, it is a hard cut at 3 minutes. And I will just unmute myself and tell teams when 3 minutes has been reached, and they'll have to stop and we'll go on to the next team. And teams must be present to win, and all 7 teams are present here, and we are excited to have a really fun and engaging evening with everyone. So here's our lineup for the evening. There are 7 teams, as I mentioned, and audience, please refer to the chat on your YouTube live screen to place any questions, and please put the team name before the question so we can match them up throughout the event, and then we're able to direct the question to the appropriate team. But without further ado, we'd like to introduce VibeTech Utah to the stage.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Megan Hanrahan, and I am the CEO and the founder of VibeTech Utah. I am also the inventor of the Flow State knee brace. The problem that I'm solving is I would like to show the product that I'm actually bringing to market. Oh, I can't get my guys to go down my slides. I don't have, oh, there it is. And, oh, okay. It's clicking too much. The problem I'm solving is that when you have a painful knee injury, you need to protect the knee and follow certain protocols. These include icing, which is a hassle outside of your home, and you also need to protect your knee from further injury and follow protocols. The Flow State knee brace accomplishes all of these tasks in one product. It's integrated and portable. Active healing for an active lifestyle. I have done 90 customer interviews, and what I have found is my product market is a fit. My customers are active sports enthusiasts. They are very dedicated to their sport, and they do want this product, and they are willing to pay for it. I have 14 customers to date testing the protocols and the prototypes. The pearls that I've learned is that they often want to use this icing compression brace while they're active and preparing different food or on the go and multitasking. They may want to use it in the car while driving or riding. And a lot of these athletes have a child in the home who is a dedicated athlete who may also want to use this product in their sport. The difference, the VibeTech product difference is I have an integrated product that solves many problems, and it's integrated between flexion, extension, compression, and cooling and heating, all of those tasks. My competitors are standalone products. They're either stabilization or more temperature control. They don't cross through both market spaces. They may solve one or two of the problems that my brace solves, but they don't do all of those tasks. And the price that I'm asking at $200 is a very competitive ask. The milestone that I would like to have funded is prototyping. So I have, again, 14 customers. I need prototypes for them to be testing the product. I'm doing a crowdfunding campaign with them, and I do need more prototypes before I make the manufactured level grade product. My funding request, I'm asking for $1,400 through Get Seated for 6 prototypes. Thank you.
Wonderful job, Megan. Thank you so much. Excellent. I'll go ahead and take back control. All right, next up is Team Amano.
Okay, it's not switching on my end. Can you hear me? Oh, there it is down there. Okay, awesome, sorry. Okay, so over the last 17 months, we've actually worked with over 2,000 pool owners all across the country through surveying, talking in person, going to retail stores. We found that the #1 problem they face is that they struggle to maintain their water chemistry in their swimming pool. That's because the existing solutions for monitoring water chemistry are actually extremely outdated. They have no automation, and they don't even tell pool owners how to fix the chemical levels when they do get out of balance. And so that's why we are developing the Amano Pool Monitor, which was shown earlier. So I clicked that. And basically, the Amano Pool Monitor is a simple device a swimming pool or spa owner can place in their swimming pool or spa, and it will monitor their most important chemicals for them, and then send them an alert if any of the levels get out of balance. As I mentioned, we've surveyed over 2,000 pool owners, 700 pool technicians, and 15 retail stores. We've also actually gone to a retail store and talked with pool and spa owners. And when we showed them our solution, they loved it. 15 out of the 17 customers we talked to signed up to beta test to be notified when our product was ready. And we've also been working with Leslie's Pool Supply, so they're the largest pool retailer in the world. And we're working with a former VP at one of the largest pool manufacturing companies. They just all expressed some good interest in this. They feel like it's solving a pretty big problem for them. The way that we stack up against our competition is that a lot of these brand themselves as a solution, but they're not actually solving the most important, measuring the most important chemicals, or they're not doing so at a price that pool owners can actually afford. And so we know that not just because that's our opinion, but because we've actually surveyed people. We've done head-to-head tests with many of our competitors. We've talked to big players in the swimming pool industry about them. And all the features, the chemicals we're testing and everything are based on that research and all of the feedback we've been given. And so what we're trying to do is we've actually spent several months developing our solution. We currently have a 27-page provisional patent that we worked on with BYU. And since then, we've actually continued to iterate on our prototype and are making a new one. And that will require a new provisional patent. And that will allow us to feel a bit more confident about working with manufacturers and other people different firms that we've been working with. And so we've contacted David O'Brien, and we've been working with him. He's met with us several times just for free to help us out. And we do feel that we have something that is patentable. And so we're asking for $1,500 to get us halfway, and we'll pay the other $1,500 with our own money. So that's our presentation.
Excellent job, Team Amano. Thank you. Thank you for being here. All right, up next in our lineup is Team Picky.
All right, should I have control of the slide deck by now?
I give it to you right now, sir. There you go.
There we go, thank you. Let's see here.
Yeah, try to go to the bottom left-hand corner. Yeah.
Okay. Well, my name is Colin Henderson. I'm happy to be here presenting for our LLC, Picky. Our mission at Picky is to empower the picky eater. And it was really born of necessity. I myself am pretty picky. I have a vegetarian diet. I come from a family that has lactose intolerance, gluten intolerance, or celiacs, as well as a number of dietary preferences. I've got a brother-in-law on a keto diet, for example. And it can be challenging for us to find restaurants or eateries, places we want to go, or discovering these new places that conforms to our dietary needs. So thus, of course, Picky. The idea is meant to be an application that you input your preferences into, of course, your favorite cuisines like Italian or Thai, Mexican, so on, and then your specific dietary restrictions or preferences. Based on that information, Picky would generate recommendations that suit your needs perfectly. You could also collaborate with other users. Say if I wanted to go out with my wife, who again has different eating preferences than I do, we could set up a meal and get recommendations based on both of our needs. Excuse me. Let's see here. So the value being generated here, while on its face, it would appear to be its users, or for Picky's users, but in fact, it's meant for the restaurants who are able to use Picky to advertise to specifically the demographic that is going to want to eat at their restaurant, the people who are going to want their food that they're making. And having done interviews with restaurant owners across Salt Lake City, we've found that the current status quo, apps like Yelp, Urban Eats, and so on, tend to cast too wide a net and place too much power in the hand of those people reviewing their foods, which kind of surprised us. So we want to address both of those things. We want to also make it a more affordable option. Yelp, for example, is on average about 30 cents as far as their cost per click goes, which is pretty expensive as far as online advertising goes. So as a small company, we'd be able to provide them this premium service at a lower cost than the current status quo. And again, give them curated advertising to directly the people that they want to advertise to. Our milestone is going to be prototyping. We want to move from market research into market testing. We really want to put this in the hands of the restaurant owners and as well as the users to get some feedback. And so our ask is for $1,000. We want to contract a local student at one of the universities here in Utah to begin prototyping the beginning stages of Picky, again, so we can test it out in the market and get some real world experience. Thank you.
Excellent job, Picky. Thank you. Thank you for presenting. I'm going to take the remote control back there. Thank you.
Let's see.
The team tie-dye is up.
All right, could you pass the control to me, please?
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks. I think we should be set to go.
All right.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michaela Chang, and I'm one of the co-founders of TieDye. Also on our team, we have Erin Chan, CTO, and Rachel Daniels, CMO. So the problem that TieDye addresses is social media lacks real and genuine connections. To put this in perspective, we'll share the thoughts of Nate, a BYU chemical engineering student. He says, I think it's kind of hard to find friends on traditional social media. And even if you do find some, they're most likely online friends and not someone you would hang out with in real life. I don't find friends that often through social media. It's more an in-person thing for me. Like Nate said, many social media apps can be isolating and impersonal. Follows, friends, and likes encourage unhealthy comparison instead of truly getting to know each other. TieDye's mission is to be the social media that helps people build genuine relationships. The app is all about common interests, getting together in person, and a shared sense of community. Instead of the add friend button, TieDye promotes meaningful group and one-to-one conversation through our unique question game, communities, events, and tags. So TieDye is a double-sided market that focuses on college campuses. So we aim to serve more than 20 million university students while helping millions of small businesses reach the student audiences of their products. You can see on the bottom some of the businesses that have already agreed to partner with us after our launch. Nate from the last slide was a part of our beta test at BYU that consisted of about 400 students. And here are his thoughts. He says, through TieDye, I've made some friends. Without TieDye, I would be sitting in my room, in my bed, doing nothing. But now I get out and about. Overall, it's a great way to do things and find so many activities you can participate in.
I'll talk about our competitive analysis. So as you know, there's a lot of different social media apps out there, but they compete tangentially with TieDye. None of them occupy exactly the same market. For example, on the left, we have some of the bigger players. Instagram and Facebook have really gotten too big to be personal with building new relationships. And there are many niche online communities like Reddit that don't prioritize in-person experiences and events. On the right side, apps like Tinder, Bumble, and Mutual do help people meet and form relationships, but only in a dating context. And Groupon, Nextdoor, and Meetup serve different markets from TieDye. TieDye has the advantage of being a newcomer to the space, focusing on in-person activities and capturing the college demographic. The milestone that we'd like you to help us fund is our big social media ad campaign. From our beta test and development over the summer, we have the product and the logistics and the business partners, but we need to spread the word to get this off the ground. Spreading the word brings more students onto the app, which in turn in social media brings more students and businesses. It all starts with that initial push that we're aiming for August. So we're asking for $1,400, which will help get our campaign off the ground. We're planning for $200 of spend per day for 7 days as kind of an initial push. Not only will this reach an estimated tens of thousands of people within the targeted area that we've planned for, but will teach us about how our audience really responds. We want to know what intrigues students, concerns them, and most importantly, what we can do to help students have a more genuine relationship building experiences on TieDye. Thank you, and happy to cover any questions in the chat.
Excellent job, TieDye. Thank you so much. All right, next up is Recloset.
Great, thank you. If you could give me remote control.
Absolutely. Okay, take it away.
Okay. Let's see, it's not coming up on my screen yet. Okay, there we go. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm Jenny Stenquist. My partner is Ryan Stenquist, and we are Recloset. Recloset is an online marketplace app tailored to local secondhand clothing sales. Current solutions to buy and sell secondhand clothing are failing. They're expensive, difficult to use, and unattractive. Consignment stores give people hardly any money for their clothes. Online platforms either charge high shipping and commission fees, or they feel like garage sales not tailored to stylish clothing. Donation hubs do not give any sellers any compensation. And our marketplace app helps people rework, refresh, and restyle their wardrobes locally. Sellers list items to their closets for $1 using a standardized process. No commissions, no shipping, just local meetups, drop-offs, and pickups. Buyers are offered a powerful search function to filter based on location, brand, color, size, clothing category, and price. Local boutiques also partner with Recloset through a subscription model to list excess inventory and advertise in buyers' browsing feeds. Nothing like this exists in the market today. So our target market is primarily consisting of 15 to 25-year-old women who are into the thrifting scene, who use workaround solutions to buy or sell secondhand clothing. These customers want to avoid high shipping prices and stiff commissions, problems that we are able to solve. In terms of validation, when we first looked into this idea, we were shocked to learn that that there's a local Provo clothing swap Facebook group that has almost 15,000 members and over 300 listings on average per day alone. This transaction volume is extremely promising for our single fee do-it-yourself business model. As far as primary research, we've surveyed over 100 individuals from our target market and conducted 40 face-to-face interviews with our virtual clickable prototype, revealing that 88% of participants prefer our solution over competitors. We also ran successful experimental Facebook advertisements such as smoke tests and collected about 100 pre-launch signups to validate our business model and pivot where necessary. One major pivot we've made includes the idea of partnering with boutiques to sell their excess inventory. In terms of competition, this matrix can help you see that Recloset is strategically positioned to be a leader in the local online thrifting industry, most prominently because we emphasize social and environmental responsibility and avoid those high shipping and commissions, which other platforms are failing at. In terms of our milestone, any funding that we receive will be contributed to our MVP build, which is being done by a local software development agency called Brevity. We hope to learn about essential features, pricing strategy, and start generating revenue for the future. We're asking for $1,500, and here's a look at the funding we have had previously, and we're happy to answer any questions you might have in the chat. So thank you.
Excellent job. Thank you so much, Team Recloset. Okay, next up is Bad Energy.
Awesome, thank you. Could you transfer the control to me?
Yes, sir. All right, you should have it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So my name is Sam Sabin from Bad Energy Records. The problem that we're solving is that independent music artists have a really difficult time marketing their music, and we are getting into that market. Every year, artists lose over $300 million in streaming revenue that comes from scam services that promise to market their music. We are providing a solution to this problem by giving artists direct access to playlist curators on Spotify or Apple Music. A playlist curator is just someone who has a following on songs that they've curated. And one of the best ways to get discovered as an artist is by getting on some of those playlists. So we allow a platform for them to pitch to them. So coming into the sphere, there was a little bit that was already validated because there, like I said before, there are already services in this sphere. The problem is a lot of them are scams or are just poorly implemented, but the demand is there. There's a huge amount of money that is spent each year, just like I said before, 300 million lost alone, let alone how much is spent. And so we decided to try and do a test MVP. So we set up an MVP on our website, badenergyrecords.com. And through that, we've been able to profit $1,200 in revenue. And we've had really good responses from the artists. A third of them have returned, and 50% of those have returned another time. We've had many artists just telling us about the wonderful experience they've been able to have. So in the sphere we're competing, our main competitors are record labels and influencer platforms. They both have benefits and cons to those business models, and we're trying to create a business model that incorporates the benefits of both. Record labels are very controlling and they're very inaccessible for most artists. It's very difficult to be signed. Influencer platforms are more open, but they have a very broad focus. They're not really focused on music. And so the platform that we are creating kind of combines that. It brings the reputation and clout of record labels to everyone. So right now we are building a new web platform. We have a web developer working on that right now, and it will be done on September 1st. The milestone we're trying to reach is to get 100 beta testers through that solution. And so that's the purpose of what we will use the funding for, is we will use that money for advertising to get those customers so that we can develop a correct customer acquisition cost and ROI. We think we'll need about $1,000 to get this with the current customer acquisition cost we have. Thank you so much, and we look forward to any questions you have.
Excellent. Great job, Sam and Team Bad Energy. And last in the lineup, certainly not least, is Team Breath of Life. I will hand over control to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Can you see my screen?
You should just be seeing my screen, and then you can advance the clicker now that you have
Okay.
control.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, I am not seeing the share screen. Hold on.
You're not going to share your screen. You're going to advance Jeremy's screen with remote access. And you'll see that in the bottom left, you'll see some arrows.
Yeah, go ahead and try the mouse on the screen with the zoom. And you should be able to move the cursor like this in the bottom left.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, are you?
Yep, I can see you move the cursor, and then if you just click on the screen, it'll advance to the next slide.
Okay.
Or you can use the arrows in the bottom left-hand corner.
Okay, can you see it now?
Let's see, it might be lagging. I still see our lineup slide.
Oh, there we go. Great. Hi, we are the Breath of Life, and our team consists of myself and Jason. We are students recently graduated from BYU. We also have many engineering professors that have been guiding us. And the Breath of Life is a choking remedy device. And the problem that we are seeking to solve is that there are 5,000 choking deaths annually, but young children and the elderly are the greatest victims of choking. So this device can be used on any size person, but they are our target market that we're most concerned about. And the problem is that for the young children, parents of young children are typically not competent in using the Heimlich maneuver. They would like to be, but not enough to worry about getting trained. And then the elderly person's caretakers are usually trained in how to use the Heimlich maneuver. However, it is really dangerous to perform the Heimlich maneuver on elderly persons because it can cause further damage, such as ruptured organs or broken ribs. And so here is a small video of the choking remedy device to show you how it works. These two pink buttons are the trigger mechanism, and once it's triggered, that suctions the obstruction in someone's trachea when they are choking. So our customer validation, our target customer has been specifically, we were focusing on mothers, especially mothers of young children. We had many interviews with doctors. We had a panel of 14 entrepreneurs that discussed with us the prototype for an hour. We've surveyed hundreds of people, and through that, we've come up with what we think is an excellent prototype that meets the needs of the customer and really blows the competition out of the water. However, if you look at the right side, we have recently pivoted from mothers to restaurants and nursing homes. We found from talking to investors that they are more likely to invest if we are B2B, not B2C. So we're just recently pivoting, and we plan to do the same type of validations that we did before with this new target market. The two competitors are the Heimlich maneuver and then two other choking remedy devices. The Heimlich maneuver is dangerous, like I talked about, for elderly persons. The D-choke and the life vac, as you can see from the picture on the left, you must use both hands to use it, which is wildly inconvenient in a choking emergency. Our Breath of Life solves these problems. It's one-handed, it's portable, so that a customer can have several devices in their car, in their home, in their RV, in their diaper bag. And that's very important to customers. And it's intuitive to use. You push the button, you put it on the face and you push the button. And it's a must-have for those that are not trained in the Heimlich maneuver. And customers want these options. So the milestone that we are wanting to reach is applying for the $1,500 grant. As anyone knows in manufacturing, that the prototyping, injection molding, and the we're looking at $100,000 to get the prototype revenues. And the doctors that we want to present this to, they need proof that the PSI and function of the Breath of Life are safe, so that we can confidently promote it to nursing homes and restaurants and investors. And this will springboard us closer to our goal, toward our goal. And that's it.
Excellent job, Elizabeth and Team Breath of Life. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll go ahead and take back this remote control from you. Okay, so we have made it through all of our presentations. So now is the time for question and answer. So please go to the YouTube live chat box and put the name of the team at the beginning of your question, and then put your question, whatever it may be, to each of the teams, and we'll be able to bring them up here in this session. And the questions are coming into me as we speak. So my first question goes to Vibe Tech, and this question refers to your unit cost. You are projecting to be selling your brace unit for $200 per unit. And you demonstrate on your competitive analysis that this is quite a bit more than any of the existing predicate devices for this technology. So how do you justify charging that much to consumers, and do you think that's going to be a barrier? You can go ahead and unmute, Megan. Thank you.
Great question. Right now, as a startup, you have to price your unit and devices fairly high. You can always drop your price down. So right now I'm listing it as 200, so I can slowly lower it if I need to too. But right now it is important that I show a niche market. I don't want to sell it too low. I will not be widely distributing it in big box stores or things like that. So I have a fairly low volume, and the way that I'll be able to stay sustainable is through profit and margins. And the quality of the textiles that I've chosen are medical grade neoprene, a bamboo charcoal liner to it. I'm also a physical therapist, and I feel that it justifies my clinical skill set to be able to recommend the brace.
That's great, thank you. My next question is for Team Amano. And the question is, what do you project is your time? You mentioned you've done some beta testing and you're looking to expand on that testing. What would you project to be your timeline to prototyping and then scaling to manufacture your device?
Yeah, so right now we're looking at having beta units ready to be in the water sometime around October, so that we can get a final run ordered by the end of the year and have them ready to sell by next summer.
Excellent. Thank you. My next question is for Team Picky. And the question is, how do you know that these larger companies that already exist in the market that offer, a variety of apps, offer a lot of choices for consumers to go and find, the foods of their choices. They have a lot of different categories and they're able to order in, such as Grubhub and Uber Eats. How do you know that they can't expand their services slightly and offer a similar service that you're aiming to offer in this market? How will you be able to entice customers to come to you rather than them?
Perfect, thank you. As far as an application like Yelp imitating Picky's services, we have the advantage of not having any shareholders, and we want to keep it that way. So we will be able to keep our prices low. The average cost per click fluctuates a little bit on these different sites based on the area and the specific companies, but we found that it's typically 30 cents. I may have mentioned that, but that's pretty high for online advertising, and we have no problem undercutting that and offering these services at a bargain rate. And we also want to reach out to larger companies like Grubhub or DoorDash, these food delivery services, because that particular service isn't really on our radar. But if we garner popularity and if we really make some traction in this market, we want to reach out to a company like that and see if there's a possibility for collaboration or partnership.
Excellent. Thank you, Colin. Appreciate it. Okay, this next question is for Team Tie-Dye. The question is, why do you want to focus your attention and your resources towards an online marketing campaign rather than garnering social presence organically, maybe through other in-person means of garnering attention on campus and in the community?
Yeah, great question. So we are actually planning to hit all the different avenues. So for the past 6 months, ever since we actually launched the product for a beta test in January, we've had our Instagram following grow organically. We're about 1,500 followers. We have a launch party that's coming up. We've got the plans already in place for that and vendors coming in. It's just this social media ad campaign that we think is really going to turbocharge it and get the word out, especially because social media campaigns can be targeted so fine-grained to individual college students.
Excellent. Thank you, Aaron. The next question is for Team Recloset. It looks like you're looking to offer a service without charging much in commissions and fees. And the question is, how will you make money, or at least sufficient money to maintain operations without charging similar fees to Poshmark and other types of services?
Absolutely, that's a great question, Jeremy. I think that one main thing that we've discovered is that our optimal price point for a listing fee is about $2.14. We've done some modeling, and there are a lot of people who would actually be willing to pay even more than that to list items to their closet. And the second thing is transaction volume. So we're hoping that with this optimal price point for listing fee and with a lot of volume, we'll be able to bring in, like I mentioned, there were 300 listings on average per day on just this Facebook group. So we see that there's really a demand for this in the market. In addition, as soon as we have a lot of traffic on our site, we can bring in local boutiques with a subscription model for $500, $1,000 a month. They're advertising on our platform to people who really will be attracted to their types of clothing. So thanks.
Excellent. Thank you, Jenny. All right, our next question is for Team Bad Energy. And the question is pertaining to the clients you've already worked with. You mentioned you've already built a successful platform that's been running for a while. The audience member would like to know what types of musicians and artists have you worked with in the past? You know, what's the biggest musician that you've worked with, or what size of artist do you typically work with?
Yeah, great question. Our main demographic is smaller artists. I'd say under like 50,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, but we have had some big name artists. We had one by someone named Money Man. He has a song with Lil Baby. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's one of the biggest artists right now. And so even higher up on the spectrum, there's still artists paying a lot of money to market their music in any way possible. There's a big market for this, and we're just trying to fill that.
Excellent. Thank you, Sam, for clarifying. And the final question is for Team Breath of Life. And you kind of hinted at this very high barrier to bringing a medical device such as yours to the market, the incredible cost and the time commitment. But the team would, or the audience member would like to know a bit more about what the milestones will be for your journey. So from where you are now, when do you foresee having a functional medical device that can then enter into some sort of clinical trial that can then make it into market?
Very good question. So this year we've been focusing on testing with the engineering department at BYU, and our goal has been is to get the PSI just right, so that when we get a prototype that is workable, we can show that to doctors and get doctor approval. I don't know that we'll be doing clinical studies right off the bat. Other choking devices that are similar, they don't have to be FDA approved. So basically our timeline would be get a prototype that's workable, show doctors, get doctor approval, or have to go back to the drawing board, and then take it to get an injection molding finished and take it to a manufacturer and bring it to market. Hopefully by next April, we'll have it in stores. That's the goal.
Excellent. Thank you, Elizabeth. That's very promising on the horizon. Well, thank you to all the audience members who contributed questions for this Q&A. We are now going to transition, while votes are being tallied, into a bit of a question and answer, not about your pitches tonight, but about your entrepreneurial journeys in general, all of the teams that are participating here. I'm going to turn some time over to Anne to facilitate this discussion with each of you. You can see in the chat box some questions that she already posed if you want to look at those. But in the meantime, anyone who's watching this live event, the URL to cast your vote is here below on the slide. So please go to that link and place your vote for your top 3 presentations, and soon we will have some results. So I'll turn it over to Anne.
Thank you, Jeremy, and wonderful job hosting. Congratulations, teams, on your progress and how far you've made. Don't miss the opportunity to vote. So I'm going to talk for just a brief moment while you're sure to follow the link and vote for your team. So, and maybe text your friends and family and remind them to do the same. So congratulations to all of the teams on this call. It was a really, really wonderful pitch. So this opportunity, about 10 or 15 minutes, it's all about getting to know you and where you're at as a student entrepreneur. It's a really unique experience, and I admire all of you for taking this journey. So the questions that I posed in the chat, just for anybody that's following along, are open to anybody to answer. I will review them now. So one is, what are some of the biggest issues facing you as a student entrepreneur or a beginning entrepreneur? Number two, what lessons have you learned so far in your journey? You know, not just about entrepreneuring, but maybe about yourself or those in your family or community or school. And then lastly, number three, I'm always curious about your aha moment. When did you really arrive at your business idea? Okay, before we get into those, if you're ready to answer questions, just go ahead and put your camera on and I will pull these answers out of you. I want to do a quick plug to the Masters of Business Creation program. Those of you that have just completed, congratulations. Those of you that are heading into the program, big congratulations, very competitive application pool this year. And those of you that are still undergrads, I want you to consider the University of Utah's Master of Business Creation. You would all be very strong applicants with the pitches that I've seen today. So if you want to learn more about that, you can find me. I'll put my direct email in the chat as well as we're doing the announcements. So Sam, yay, I am glad that you went ahead and put an answer in the chat. I'm going to welcome you if you'd like to just go ahead and unmute and put your camera on. I will read your answer and then let you kind of tell me more. Okay. I think one of the biggest issues for student entrepreneurs today is properly validating their ideas and being able to feel confident that they're able to be entrepreneurs. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so I think that a lot of people don't believe that they can be entrepreneurs. And I think that everyone can, personally. I don't think I have really too many special talents or anything like that. I just, I don't think it takes anything special. I just think that a lot of people just need that confidence. And so I think that's one of the biggest things that people, I guess the most important part for people to have.
So tell me a little bit more. At what point did you have the confidence to self-identify with the word entrepreneur, or are you still working on that?
I mean, I'm still working on it. That's a good question. I think it just comes with experience. Like, one of it is my co-founder, Harrison. He's not here right now, but he's the kind of person that makes you feel like you can do anything. So part of it's come from him, I think. But I don't know if there's really been a moment. It's just been kind of a process over time.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that in your answer. As a person who has the opportunity to work with aspiring entrepreneurs and students that don't even see themselves as entrepreneurs, I do think it's part acknowledgement of skills and abilities that students already have within them. Anyone else want to jump in and answer?
I sent you a little message, Anne. Do you want me to?
Perfect.
Share?
I will read it because I was going to call on you anyway.
Oh, okay.
That's the joy of being an incoming student, right?
Yes.
A great answer. The discovery towards digging in to the right avenues and always trying to find answers is the biggest challenge. There is no clear path laid out for an entrepreneur, and we have to find answers through grit and innovation. This is all true. There's no answers. Elizabeth, will you continue and share a little more?
Oh, sure. So I grew up in an entrepreneurial home, watched my dad build a business. I have lots of entrepreneurs in my family, and I've had some entrepreneurial innovations and small projects. And the type of work that all of us are doing is so cool because they're all very niche and they're very different. And so you have to kind of find your own path and make a name for yourself by continuing to network, investigate, research, like it's constant, and it's really exciting and also exhausting, but it's worth it. Like I love what I do, and I love watching all the other entrepreneurs that we've seen today. It's so inspiring. So good job, everyone. It's really fun to watch.
Thank you for that. I do think the act of constantly figuring it out and the tenacity to find your next answer is the act of entrepreneuring, right? It's not the thing that happens once, it's a practice. Jenny, I'm going to call on you with Recloset. Tell me about your aha moment. When did it happen? Where were you?
That's a great question. I was standing in front of my own closet when my aha moment happened. I think what it had to do with was just the fact that I had so many clothes that were cute, but I didn't like wearing them anymore, just because I had gotten tired of them, or I didn't want to. Anyway, so I feel like that was probably my aha moment, especially because after that I went and tried to dig into different ways to sell my clothes, and nothing really seemed like it was going to be worth my time. And I didn't really necessarily want to donate them yet, because a lot of them were new clothes that I just didn't like anymore. And so that was kind of my aha moment. But I do have another answer to what lessons I've learned so far, if I could share that as well. I think one of the most important lessons I've learned in my entrepreneurship journey is that I'm not going to get it right the first time, and I can't let that paralyze me. A lot of times I think students who are considering starting businesses feel like there's so many different directions they can go, and that sometimes stops people in their tracks. And just diving in one way, realizing it's not the right way, and retracking and retracing your steps and starting over. It's not, it's not failure, it's progress. And so that's kind of probably the biggest thing I've learned in my journey. So, thanks.
I love that. And I do, I think that's a really encouraging message to hear from you. I feel encouraged. Megan, I'm going to call on you. I want to hear, what are some of the lessons you've learned so far, right? We do, right, Jenny, have all these lessons out ahead of us, but what are some of the things you've learned so far in your journey?
Well, it never ends. I feel like when you have the confidence to be a founder, that should be enough, but it's like you're always on the high dive, and just when you master something else, you're like, oh, I don't know how to do that. And so I was recently graduated from the MBC program with a cohort. And so I loved being together with other founders that were like all like hashing out ideas and wanting to help each other. And it's like, yeah, we somebody in the group would know how to do it. So that really helped. And just, I'm mid-career, so I do innovate with my patients all the time. And it's just really exciting to take it to a product and follow through with the way that we all innovate. Moms do, I do with my kids, but on the job, it was just like a kind of a burning desire to want to create and finish something tangible. So I'm really loving having the Flow State knee brace be my offering. And I have a really good aha, if I can share it. So I had knee surgery in 2015, an ACL reconstruction, and I was staring at my fish tank with the pump and all of that. And all of my protocols for my knee were on the couch, and it was taking up the whole couch. And I had to go to a baseball game and stand there. And I'm like, I can't take that to the baseball field and stand there for 3 hours in the avenue. So it was this really fast, less than a millisecond, like boom, light bulb. But to build this product, it's taken me 4 to 5 years. So it's kind of a funny concept of the speed of thought and actually producing it.
Right. That's why the difference between being an idea person and being an actual entrepreneur, because it's a lot more time, right? Colin, I'm curious a little bit about your story. Tell me a bit about your journey and what are some of the struggles that you faced and lessons that you've learned?
Sure, of course. I was thinking of the different ways I could answer the first and second question when I realized that for me, they're uh, more of a Venn diagram. The lesson that I've learned is that we interpret entrepreneurs, at least from my experience and from associating with other students my age, we interpret entrepreneurs too often to be the overnight successes, the Jeffrey Bezoses, so on. Whereas entrepreneurship is almost always going to be a slow burn, and it's going to require a lot of patience and a lot of hard work. As far as the aha moment, there have been a lot of pivots and changes over the course of our ideation and process. But I just remember it beginning with an advertisement I received on Yelp. I'm an avid user of Yelp, and I try to find new restaurants, new foods as often as I can. It's something I really enjoy. And just about every time I was getting an ad, it's something I would never want to eat in a million years. And addressing that problem, addressing the hole in the market is really where this project was born.
Yeah, I have to say my best friend has the most complex diet. This would be very helpful tool. So with that, I want to be sure. So I believe that voting is wrapping up. I just want to say again, congratulations for all of your progress. Getting to this position of Get Seated, you've already applied, you've already done pitch selection, you've prepped your decks. And so I just want to acknowledge you are part of the Lassonde community by participating in this program, and we aspire to help you. So even if you didn't win cash today, please be encouraged that you are in the top performing student entrepreneurs in the state of Utah, and we want to support you and help you get to where you want to go. So with that, students, I will put my email in the chat. I would have loved to hear a little more from Tie-Dye, but we'll have to have you back another time and the other teams. So we'll do that. Thank you so much for your time.
And thank you so much, Anne, for moderating that discussion, and thank you for all of you student entrepreneurs for participating. The moment we have all been waiting for. One more thank you to our wonderful sponsors. We would like to announce the winners of both of the Get Seated programs for this summer. As you know, there is also a Microgrant program, which in contrast to this full grant program, it offers a $500 seed funding maximum for teams that present for the Microgrant program. So before announcing our winners for tonight, I'd like to announce the Microgrant winners who are tuned into this live stream. So thank you for being here as well, Microgrant participants. And we are able to fund 5 of the Microgrant teams that presented this round in no particular order. These are the 5 that will be funded $500 each for their milestones. The first team is Vimadri. So congratulations, Team Vimadri. Second team is Speed Freaks. Congratulations, Speed Freaks. And Dear Student. Congratulations to Dear Student. And Porcupine.ai will also be funded. Congratulations. And finally, No Society Media will receive the $500 grant. So thank you to our Microgrant teams. And now we have tallied up the scores for tonight. It was very close, and we have to cut it off somewhere, right? So we are able to fund 4 teams this evening. And I will name these in order of the votes that came in from the popular vote of our audience. So the team that came in 4th place that will receive their funding request is Team Picky. Congratulations, Colin, excellent job. The 3rd place team is Breath of Life. Congratulations, Elizabeth, great job, well deserved. Second place team is Recloset. So Jenny, wonderful job. Congratulations. And our number one team from the popular vote this evening was Team Tie-Dye. So wonderful job. Excellent job. And again, we are so grateful to have you here this evening. Thank you for presenting virtually and for participating and engaging with the Lassonde Institute. Just as Anne said, you are all in the top percentiles of student entrepreneurs in the state of Utah. That's really something to be proud of. And if you weren't funded tonight, please come back. You know, we'll be involved with this program. We love to see teams come back, whether they've been funded or not. And we want to work with you one-on-one to get you to where you want to go. So with that, I'd like to wrap up our live stream event. Thank you, everyone.